Saving Points podcast. My name is Quentin Crisco. You can follow me on Twitter at BuckisStats. I'm here with my buddy Jay. How you doing, Jay?
Doing great tonight. My name is Jay May. You can follow me at JMay56 on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites. We're there. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, comment, do all the fun stuff, help the boys out, and let's win some money together. Or if you want to be like me, you can lose a lot of money here lately.
If you want to be like both of us. But we are the Shaving Points podcast. Find us on Twitter at shaving_PTS. That's points_pod. And go like, retweet, comment on our stuff. How'd you do last week, Jay?
NFL did 3-3. I won a Thursday night game, so I'm 3-0 my last 3 Thursday night games, and that's the only record that matters. So that's fantastic. I got crushed in the Bengals game and the obvious the Vikings. Oh my goodness, the Vikings.
We both were on that Vikings game, man.
I can't believe it. Like
the podcast where we tell you to not sleep on the Lions. The 1 week we both sleep on the Lions. We shouldn't have.
I know it. We went against ourselves. Sometimes you have to fade yourself, and we picked the wrong spot to fade ourselves there. Terrible, terrible move. But yeah, I missed a pretty nice parlay that would have hit from the Vikings, and then
the Vikings cost me 2 teasers and a parlay, or 2 teasers and a parlay. Two of those 3 would have hit.
And then the freaking Giants, I bet on them before I realized Danny Dimes was out, and they cost me a parlay that would have paid out plus 1,500. So
see, I was on Miami on that one. When the second I saw Danny Dimes was out, I threw it up on the Twitter as an extra play of mine.
Yeah, I loved it. And then when I realized Mr. Daniel was out, I didn't love it so much, but it was already locked in. I wish I would have just parlayed my other 2 picks and taken the Giants out, and I would have had a nice little parlay with the football team and the Steelers. But apparently, I'm too stupid to do that, and I just wrote it out with the Giants, and it came to a bitter defeat at the hands of Tua Tagovailoa.
So there were multiple times during the Vikings game where I was sitting there with my phone open, going at the live spreads, just saying I should hedge this because I was looking great on the other 2 in these teasers, and I had New England on the back end of them both. So I was like, I should hedge this, and I just kept convincing myself it'll work out. The Vikings will do it, and I just wish I would have hedged.
Yeah. I would have hit my Vikings teaser if they didn't give up that touchdown late, which. What a terrible! Like, why are you guarding back to the end zone?
Yeah.
Oh man, it was rough. I didn't get to watch any football really. I was out and about all day, so that kind of sucked. I caught what I could on my phone, but yeah,
you got some of the Taysom Hill experience, didn't you?
Yeah, I got to see that on Thursday night.
Another bet of mine gone wrong. Just the whole second half, saying, "All right, New Orleans can cover." I just needed them to cover 4.5, and it was like a 10-point game for what felt like the entire second half.
Yeah,
and New Orleans kept getting stops, and I kept being like, "Okay, there's no way he's going to throw another interception."
That game was so freaking crazy. Like Marshawn Lattimore was guarding a running back or a tight end. Like I feel like for over half the game, and Dak threw at fucking Marshawn Lattimore to Tony Pollard, Blake Jarwin, and Dalton Schultz like 6 times. You're throwing against their best corner with average at best receivers.
Yeah.
And you have
– I mean, you're not talking Travis Kelce here.
Yeah, you have Amari Cooper, you have CeeDee Lamb, you have Michael Gallup, and you're throwing to fucking Blake Jarwin against a top 5 corner in the league. Oh, it was driving me insane watching that. And then he got the pick after about like the 6th time. And every time he threw it to a running back, I'm like, for one, what are the Saints doing having their best corner guard the check down? But I guess they knew what they were doing.
They knew something.
Yeah, because Dak kept going there. It didn't matter. And it was just driving me insane watching a 3rd and 8 throw to Tony Pollard. And then you have Marshawn Lattimore all over him. I'm like, Tony Pollard's like 5'9" against a big, very good corner.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Well, at least they got the W for you.
They did. That was nice. I mean, we had like what felt like 25 interceptions in that game. Yeah, Taysom Hill's bad.
Yeah. We'll get to some Taysom Hill stuff later.
He's very good. He's very good at just getting hit and playing football, I guess. He's just not a very good quarterback, which is okay.
He's actually a half decent football player at everything except for quarterback, I think.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, he gets paid a lot of money to be bad at quarterback. So I guess he's living the American dream. I don't know why they even try to throw
That's just what the Saints want you to think.
I don't know why they were moving the ball well with just Taysom Hill just running as hard as he can right at Micah Parsons every time. He was only getting 4 yards at a time, but like eventually he was going to like wear down Micah Parsons, I would assume. Yeah. One of them's gonna break eventually with some of the clutch. Like, did you see Taysom Hill and like all the bruises and the bleeding he had in, like that third quarter? Like his entire arm was purple.
Dude looked like First Blood, man, just Rambo.
It was insane. I'm like, at that point, why not just put like Mark Ingram at quarterback? Like, give the man a break.
He might throw less picks.
Yeah, it'd be hard to throw more than 4.
Well. We got a fresh slate here, so let's get some winners. First up,
I got nothing but winners this week, by the way. So
I've
guaranteed can't lose picks
every time, 70% of the time, every time.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So first up here, we got Ben Roethlisberger and his noodle arm going up to the cold city of Minnesota to take on Kirk's cousin in the Vikings. What you got here, Jay?
All right, so the news came out last week, I guess, about Big Ben being his last season, and they all did the let's win one for the Gifford type shit, and they went out there and played their best game of the season. Vikings got absolutely crushed last week. I still can't believe that. Vikings are laying 3 at home here with a total of 43.5. I'm taking Vikings -3, and I'm taking the over 43.5. Vikings, if they lose this, they're dead, and they might already be dead. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I like the Steelers usually as dogs, but I feel like this is just a typical like Steelers came out Sunday. They have a short turnaround. They have a quarterback that is 65 years old playing in his last season. Probably can't even get out of bed Monday morning. And the Vikings, like I said, I mean, they got embarrassed. And I just don't see them going out there and just laying an egg. I like the Vikings here -3. And I like the over. I mean, Steelers got some weapons. I think they can score every bit of 20 points. And I think the Vikings can get to 24, 25. I think total will end up being around 45, 46, which will be plenty enough points to hit my over there. So I like Vikings -3 and over 43.5.
So you read my mind. I got the same 2 bets on this game.
Really?
Yeah, the model likes them both. I like them both. Mike Zimmer's Vikings are a very average team every year, and you are not consistently average by losing games multiple weeks in a row that often.
That's very true.
I mean, they're a well-coached team. They lack some talent in some key areas, which is one of the reasons they're always average. I think Mike Zimmer is a solid coach. He gets his guys ready for games pretty consistently. they had a lapse last week. They're not going to have a lapse 2 weeks in a row. And
they have really good receivers, and Kirk Cousins tends to just randomly show up a couple times a year and have blow up games. Kirk Cousins wasn't bad last week. They didn't lose that game because of Kirk Cousins last week.
No.
But yeah, I mean, Justin Jefferson seems basically unstoppable right now. Adam Thielen being out kind of hurts.
Has he seemed stoppable ever in his NFL career?
Like his first 2 weeks of the season, when everybody was like, he didn't even get a target, and everybody was like, "Oh, why did we take this guy?" And now Eagles fans have to just watch him and cry every week because they took Jalen Reagor 1 pick before him, and that's working out real freaking well for him. So I don't care. We got CD. I like CD, but Justin Jefferson is very good nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah, but so I'm on the same 2 bets. Vikings -3 over the 43.5.
I like
Vikings got good scheme on their defense. They're not a lot of talent though. They're going to give up some points. They're going to score points. It seems like they can score just about any time, regardless of who they're playing. They can put up some points. And honestly, I kind of, even though their defense lacks talent, they're not going to give up deep stuff, and they're going to force Ben to just go 5 yards at a time down the field against them.
Yeah,
so I like the odds on that.
I love Najee Harris on receptions. I think his reception prop is over 3.5 last I checked, and I love it. I absolutely love that because of what you just said. I think they'll be able to do a lot of dink and dunking. I like Deontay Johnson reception prop. He catches a lot of screens for him, and I like Najee Harris.
He's having a good year for him.
Yeah, I mean, as good as
he was a fantasy sleeper for me for years, and he never paid out until recently. Yeah. Once I gave up on him.
I thought you were talking about Najee at first. I was like, yeah, he's been about as good as you can for taking a receiver or taking a running back in the first round.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, he's been good enough for that. But
they could have got Jonathan Taylor in the second round last year.
Yeah.
And then taken.
Yeah, I don't know that he's been first round worthy, but.
And then they could have taken Quinn Miners and been a hell of a different team. But
yeah.
You live and you learn.
Yeah. All right. So next up here, we have got Taysom Hill leading the Saints. I don't know who's starting there. It's got to be Simeon if he's healthy. Why did Hill even start last week? Was Simeon hurt?
No, he just hasn't been very good. But
you got to go back to Simeon after that fourth quarter. But anyways.
Taysom Hill was hurt when Trevor Simeon came in. That was the whole reason why Simeon was in to begin with. Because at the beginning of the season, they were talking about Taysom Hill being the starter over Jameis Winston, which seems absolutely insane.
I don't know what the Saints' end goal is with Taysom Hill. Like, they just keep giving him ridiculous contracts that no one believes are real anymore because the way they duped everybody last time. And trotting him out there, and are they trying to convince someone to trade for him? I
think that was the original and then they could just convince themselves that nobody wants him, we'll show them, and they just keep throwing him out there, and I don't know.
Here's a conspiracy theory for you. Maybe Sean Payton's just trying to get fired so you can go to the Chicago Bears.
Would be a hell of a move.
Yep, former Chicago Bears great Sean Payton. He was a scab player in 83 during the strike season for the Bears. He played quarterback.
He also played quarterback for the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day, and he had all the Thanksgiving Day records until Tony Romo broke them.
I did not know that. But anyways,
he had a 400-yard, 3-touchdown game in the 80s on Thanksgiving Day.
Not bad.
Maybe it was the 90s. I can't remember. I want to say Troy Aikman was hurt, but it could have been somebody else. But yeah, he made 3 starts, and one of them was Thanksgiving, and he just had a monster game.
Yeah. Well, I can dream that he'll come to Chicago. He's from Chicago, Naperville. But anyways, they're going into the Meadowlands to take on the New York Jets. I have got, and I'm a fool for doing this again. It's like my third week in a row, I think.
I like the Jets in this game.
I'm taking the Saints to cover.
-5?
Cover 5, yeah.
Zach Wilson's looked better.
Yeah, but he still hasn't. I think
the defense is going to eat him up. I think the defense is going to eat him up, but
the model likes it. I was iffy until I started thinking it all the way through of like, man, I don't know if Zach Wilson will throw 4 picks against this defense. They're still a solid defense.
Yeah, very solid defense.
So I took it. This is a tough slate this week. There's a lot to like, but it was just like it was hard to pick what I actually wanted.
I feel like
this was one on that back end of it.
I feel like a lot of weird things are going to happen this weekend.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. But so give me Saints cover -5. And we'll see if I'm 0-3 on the Saints in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, you got to turn it around eventually, right?
Yep.
Jets won last week, didn't they?
Did they?
No.
No, I think that like Zach Wilson looked good in the first half and then fell apart, I thought.
Who did they play?
I don't even remember.
Week 13. Did the Jets am I tripping? Oh yeah, they got destroyed by the Eagles.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, that's right. The Eagles.
Yeah,
you were on the Eagles in that game, I think.
Yeah, they did very well for me. That was an easy one.
Yeah.
One of my few.
All right. So next up here, we got the Derek Carr-led Las Vegas Raiders going into Kansas City to take on Fat Pat and the Chiefs. What you got?
Yeah, so the Chiefs definitely turned a corner now. I don't really think anybody in the league, except, I mean, I wouldn't say anybody in the league, but I feel like if you're not a top 10 team, Chiefs are going to blow you out right now. That defense looks pretty freaking incredible.
Yeah.
Offense is still dropping balls, but, I mean, eventually it's got to come back to the average. And if they stop dropping balls, they're going to win this game by 30. I like a -9.5 here. Raiders did not look good last week, I don't think, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, I like the Chiefs here. They're starting to roll. That defense is playing at a top 5 defense in the league right now after they were dead last.
Got coming, man. They're just chaotic.
Raiders look like shit against Washington. Yeah, I love the Chiefs here. -9.5 at home. I think the Raiders, their last hoorah was beating the Cowboys, and I think it's all downhill from there.
So their secondary is still like not great. I don't know if it's still as banged up as it was, but even when it was healthy, it wasn't anything to be that impressed by. Like it's definitely not a strength of their team. I think Mahomes might just tear them apart. The model likes the Raiders because it counts for the full season, not just recent. So I ignored it. I avoided it. I don't want to bet on the Raiders. I want no part of betting against the Chiefs right now. So I'm staying away.
Yeah, it's a big time for Texas Tech quarterbacks. Quinn Ewers is about to win the Heisman next year. Patrick Mahomes is about to win the Super Bowl. So it's a good time to be a Texas Tech quarterback. Yeah.
Mahomes didn't look great last week, though, did he?
I mean, a lot of drop balls.
Were there a lot of drops again? I didn't catch that game.
He threw one pick. He hit Tyreek Hill in the hands, and it bounced off his hands and was a pick.
Another one? How many does he have this year now? Like 4?
He has 7 picks that came off his hand, or that were off of a receiver's hands or chest. Travis Kelce had 2 really bad drops. Byron Pringle had a bad drop. They were rolling. Patrick Mahomes was hitting everybody, just nobody could catch the freaking ball. So, like I said, eventually, like they're professionals. Like eventually, they got to start catching it. And they still won 22-9. Should have been closer to about 35-9, but either way, I love the Chiefs in that spot.
So, on a bit different of a note, did you see that Jamar Chase dropped an interception?
Jamar Chase dropped an interception?
Drop that turned into an interception last week.
See. I heard about. I was listening on the radio. I heard it. I never
Dude,
actually
so
saw it.
he had a few yards on his guy on a go route. Like he had dead to rights touchdown. Drops it, like manages to throw it behind him, and the defender behind him just catches it and turns around. Like it was as bad as it gets.
Yeah, then Mixon had a bad fumble and just opened the game wide open.
Yeah.
They were making a comeback in that game, but
yeah, I
couldn't pull it off.
Yeah, I live bet Bengals money line right before they got it down to like a 2-point deficit or something, and then I wasn't paying attention to it because I watched the Bears on my computer, and the only way for me to get red zone is on my computer, so I have to choose one or the other. And I was going to watch the Bears because I write about the Bears. I got to watch them. And I look back at my phone like 20 minutes later, and since he's down by 20 again, I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, Cincy, I don't know what to think of that team, but fuck the Chargers. I lost so much money on the Chargers. And then I bet against them and I lose money. I can't figure them out.
I don't bet the Chargers much anymore. For the last few years, I feel like they've screwed me every time I bet them.
I don't know. I don't know what they're
doing. Next up here, we got Micah Parsons stomping his way into kinda Washington, D.C. They don't really play there, but they're named after it.
They play in Ralston.
In an NFC Beast battle between the Cowboys and the football team.
This game worries the shit out of me.
I'd be a little worried too.
Washington isn't good, but they keep winning.
Yeah, they're pesky though, man. They stay in it.
I mean, they're definitely better without Chase Young, that's for sure. I don't have this game. I just hope the Cowboys win. Washington, like, every single week they win, and you're like, they're not good, and they win. And not Trevor Siemian. Who's their quarterback?
Heineke.
Yeah, Heineke.
Fitzpatrick Jr.
Yeah, every week you're like, oh, Heineke's trash, and then like he makes like 2 or 3 plays. You're like, where did that come from? And it's like Terry McLaurin's not really doing much. Like he's gonna
100% live the Fitz tragic cycle of like be on a minimum contract, play lights out, get a big contract, turn into complete crap, and then the whole thing starts over again. It's just a big circle. But the model likes Dallas here. Logic likes Dallas here. I had hesitation because the other 5 models that I cross-check against, only one of them liked Dallas. But you know what? Screw those other models. They've been losing me money the last 2 weeks. I trust my models more than the other ones. I'm following my models. I'm taking Dallas -4. I can't hear you.
I can't say I hate it. I love Dallas to win this game. Like I said, Washington just scares me, and that field terrifies me. Like I'm just hoping everybody comes off that field healthy, because early December, late December games at that terrible field just takes people's knees with them, and I'm just hoping we'll get out healthy.
Yeah,
and hope we get a dub. It would be great to cover the 4, but I'm not betting on it. I just want the win. I can't stress over that game. So I'm just hoping for the best. Might throw Dallas money line in a parlay or something.
I like Dallas for teasers this week for 7 point. Get that football number at +3. I like it. I actually have them in my teaser, but we'll get to that later. Next up here, we got Dan Campbell biting kneecaps all the way to Denver, take on Teddy Two Gloves and the Broncos. What do you got?
Yeah, so Last week we slept on the Lions, and that was a huge mistake. Denver's not very good, so I got to take Denver here. Teddy Two Gloves. Number one rule of gambling is that you don't bet against Teddy Two Gloves. Also, the number one rule of gambling is don't sleep on the Lions. And what happens when two number one rules of gambling clash? It's a fight for the ages. I love Denver here in this spot, -8.5, coming off of a pretty bad performance against Kansas City. Jerry Judy's looking pretty good coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I like him a lot.
Denver's got a track team out there. I don't know if many people realize it. Between Judy, Fant, who's the fast kid they took 2 drafts ago out of Penn State? Hamler? KJ Hamler.
Yeah, KJ Hamler. Who's the kid out of
that team? And then Cortland Sutton.
When he's back. He's
and then Tim Patrick's a good receiver too. They're going
to be incredible next year.
Track team. Yeah, they are. I pray he goes there and gets the hell out of my division.
Yeah, go to the AFC and go fight against Fat Pat. That'll be fun. I like Denver here. Going to Mile High. Detroit's coming off their biggest win in a year, because that was the last time they had a win against the Bears. It was exactly 364 days after their last win, so they didn't quite make it to a full year, so good for them. But I like Denver in this game, cover the 8.5. I like Teddy Bridgewater to have a big game. And I like Pookie Williams to have a big game in this. He's been looking really good at that running back position. I might take him to score a touchdown. I think you can get him on plus money right now for an anytime touchdown. He scored a touchdown in his last 3 games. I really like it, so I'll probably bet Pookie Williams to get a touchdown there. And
number one rule of gambling: bet on Pookie.
Don't sleep on Pookie, that's for sure.
So I have some thoughts on this game. I didn't bet it. I was very close to betting it. When I started running my numbers, this line was at 7.5, and I came down to the decision that I'd buy a half point and bet it to 7. Denver to cover -7. And when I went to go bet it, it was at 8.5. I'm not crazy. I'm not buying 1.5 points, so I just let it be. But if it comes back down, I still like him at 7. Really, as I was looking at this game, I mean, Denver's got a team. They don't have a quarterback, but they got a good team. It only gets you so far. Well, covering, but they are an extremely more talented roster than Detroit is. And I think that's pretty clear. When you combine that with Vic Fangio versus Jared Goff, Goff is not going to know what he's seeing in front of him half the time he's dropping back there. I expect Goff to have a rough game. I think Detroit will hang in there because their defense is just tough. They're not super talented, but they're tough.
Mile High's a tough place to play in December, though.
But so that's where I think in the fourth quarter you see Denver pull away with this game after they wear them down some, and I see them covering 7. Maybe they cover 8 or 9. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all. I just didn't feel safe about it to put a unit on it.
Yeah, no, understandable. I mean, I really like them. After this falls into my own model in my brain of a team that didn't cover the week before versus a team that did cover. So it falls in line with that. And it's
been a solid strategy this year.
Yeah, I think since I've started betting it, I'm 5-1 on it. So not terrible. Should have taken Seattle this past week. That was a clear miss. I was like, it falls in line, and I didn't take it. And Seattle goes out there and wins by 10. So maybe I should just blindly bet it every time.
I'm in I think you're in it too, Jay, but I don't think you've done it as often. I've stopped paying attention to the last few weeks as well. But
that
Pigskin Pick'em through like the ESPN Fantasy app with one of our friends. I was talking to him this past weekend while we were golfing, and I said to him, like, I mean, you've done pretty well in that pick'em. When he was telling me he hasn't had a chance to pay as much attention to the NFL, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's just because I pick dogs almost every game." He's like in the 70th percentile of that, and he's just picking dogs every week.
Dogs have been barking this year,
yeah.
Except when I bet on them, then they lose. So
hey, I got one dog this week, and the rest favorites. So I hope that trend changes.
I have 2 dogs.
Let's see. Next up here, we got Russell Wilson and his broken finger going into H-Town, take on Davis Mills and the Texans. And this is another one. Yeah, Tyrod got benched last week mid-game for Davis Mills. Oh, I thought he got benched.
I think he broke something. I think something came out, like broke all of his bones or something like that.
Ruptured a lung again after getting a shot.
Yeah, Tyrod, he just can't catch a freaking break.
He can't.
He's looked decent when he's in there. Seattle looks a little bit better. I mean, they had a gift from Travis Homer, who I didn't even realize was still on the freaking team. 75-yard touchdown on like the first drive.
Yeah.
And then after that, they just kind of coasted and just didn't give up. That defense is starting to look a little bit better.
Yeah.
7.5 is a lot of points for a team that's looked as bad as the Seahawks have looked. I would have loved the Seahawks. I mean, they're on the road giving up 7.5. I know it's Houston, but they get paid too. What the old saying. But
Houston's coming off a complete embarrassment last week against the Colts, like complete and total embarrassment. And that was my hesitation in betting this. But Model likes Seattle.
They got embarrassed by one player. They got embarrassed by Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
They didn't get embarrassed by the Colts. He got embarrassed by Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
He had more. Jonathan Taylor had more yards by himself than the entire Texans team did.
He's really pushing his MVP case.
Yeah, my only knock against him is that he was the second best running back in his own division before Derrick Henry got hurt. But like we were saying, like nobody's running away with it yet. Kyler made a case for it last week. Kyler's really good.
His 15 pass attempts?
Yeah, but I mean,
he didn't need to do a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Whenever he was asked to do something, he did it. Against the Bears in Chicago, it's a hard place to play. They also have a terrible field, especially this late in the year. So he did everything that was asked of him, and that game was never in doubt. So, but I mean, then Lamar's completely fallen off. Patrick Mahomes is still good, but yeah, we've been kind of talking about these last couple of weeks. Nobody's really ran away with it, and Jonathan Taylor, he has 18 touchdowns in the last 10 weeks.
Honestly, if it's not Taylor right now, I think it's Brady. I really do.
Yeah, but Brady's been consistent. I mean, he always blows up against the Falcons. Like he's undefeated in his career against the Falcons. I think he averages like 3.5 touchdowns, half an interception, and like 400 yards a game against them. He just absolutely torches the Falcons.
I'm not saying it just because the Falcons game. I'm saying it because right now he's playing at one of the highest QB usage rates we've seen in the last decade.
Yeah.
And he has the best stats. Like that is obviously his team is extremely talented, but the more that you ask a QB to make the more plays per game that you ask him to make relative to handoffs to running backs, basically is what we're talking about. Their stats are supposed to go down and his have gone up. Like it's insane.
Yeah. No, I get it. He's definitely up there right now. But I don't know. I feel like right now it's Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, maybe Jonathan Taylor, maybe Kyler. But
yeah,
I still feel like
Kyler needs to put on a show Sunday night to stay in the race, I think.
Which he very well could.
Yeah. But to get back to this game, Model like Seattle -7. I had some hesitation on it, as I did with most of my picks this week. But I'm starting to think that game last week might have been a bit of a catalyst for Seattle to wake up.
Yeah, but
and they're fighting like they're the more talented team here. They're fighting to stay in the playoff race. They're going to play hard. I think they might. I think they might just wreck the Texans.
Yeah,
which is the first time this season I've said that, because most of the time I've avoided betting against the Texans because I just know they're a veteran coaching staff, and they have a lot of veteran players. These guys don't take the game lightly, but we're talking about big time games at this point in the season where players are showing up when they have something to show up for. Yeah. So I think Seattle's going to show up big time this game, and I think they're going to cover the 7.
No, I agree. I didn't take it, but if I had to take it, I would take Seattle. There ain't no way I'm betting on the Texans right now.
Well, so I bought the half point on this one. This replaced my Denver bet. Because initially I went with Denver -7 with buying the half point, and then I just switched it to Seattle when Denver's line went up. But next up here, we got the Dirty Birds.
Baby.
To Carolina to take on Cam Newton. I don't know if you've heard that he's back, but he's back in Carolina.
So being mediocre. Yeah, I'm back on my bullshit on this one. Big time back on my bullshit. I love the Falcons in this game. I don't know why they're dogs. I thought this game would be closer to a pick 'em. They're catching 3 points. I took them on the money line. I got them plus 120, and I love it. I don't think the Panthers can stop Cordell Patterson, and I don't think they'll have to do anything else except just give the ball to Cordell Patterson about 35 times. And they're going to win this game. Carolina's got nobody. All they have to do is stop Cam Newton running the ball. Christian McCaffrey's out for the season. DJ Moore's caught, 4 passes from Cam Newton in the last 3 games? I think Cam Newton has more interceptions than DJ Moore receptions in the last couple of games. I don't understand why the Panthers are favored here. Makes no sense to me. I understand they're at home. Like I said, I feel like it should be closer to a pick 'em than anything, but 3 points is absolutely insane. And I'm just taking the money line. I love the money line in this spot. I think Falcons win. And the Panthers are bad. And the total's at 42.5. I kind of like the under here. I didn't take it. But like I said, I think the Falcons just feed Cordell Patterson over and over and over again. I don't see how Carolina scores, other than maybe if they can get a couple of pass interference calls, get inside the 10-yard line where Cam Newton can just run. But I don't know how Carolina's going to move the ball. And Falcons, I mean, Matty Ice is still good. He can still hit guys. They have a good tight end. I think they'll get in field goal range plenty of times and win this game.
Yeah, it's very possible. So the model liked Carolina here, and I had some hesitation on it because, I mean, for a lot of the reasons like you just said, and I've thoughts both ways. Like, basically, Atlanta's got one of the worst pass rushes in the NFL. I don't know if they can contain anyone. So Cam Newton's going to have all day to sit back there and see where he can find a hole to open up and run. They got 1 or 2 good linebackers in Atlanta. Maybe they spy him because I don't know that he'll be able to make throws even if he has all day.
This could be a hard game to watch.
Yeah. So I just texted something over to Cupcake. We'll see if he got it. I just want to put it up here. It's a chart that I do every week that basically it shows how many pressures a team should be expected to get over the course of the season based on their schedule. So basically their total opponents' average pressures allowed and versus how many that team actually has. Here we go.
There it is.
So if you look down there at the bottom left, you see, or I'm sorry, top left, you see Atlanta. They have by far, like comically, the lowest pressure rate in the NFL, despite playing an easy schedule that expects them to get a lot of pressures. Like, just insanity how bad their pass rush has been. So that's what makes me kind of wonder what Cam will be able to do in this game, as far as being able to find run lanes and make some stuff happen. But ultimately, that's why I'm avoiding this game.
Yeah, understandable. I'm just addicted to bet on the Falcons. I broke up with the Falcons like 3 different times this year, and I keep betting on them. So I don't know.
Back on your bullshit.
I love them and I hate them. Love them and I hate them. Them dirty birds. I'm glad I didn't take them last week. I took myself out of it. Smart by me. I need some credit for that one because I didn't take them last week, and I loved them last week. So getting more mature in my old age. So
all right. Next up here, credit to you. Credit to maturity. All right. We got Josh Allen in Tampa Bay to take on his great-great-grandfather, Tom Brady. Do you got this game, Jay?
I do have this game. Yeah, so I don't know if the Bills have issues.
It's hard to tell anything from last week, whether they ironed anything out.
Genius,
he was doing rain dances all week.
Yeah. I mean, Bill Belichick came out wearing like a Navy mask and ran 6-0 linemen out there every time and just ran the ball 40
They ran the
times.
same play. They ran like a right guard or a left guard pull to the right, like a counter run, just over and over and over with a fullback every time. Fullback lead block, left guard pull.
I think it was Bill Belichick's favorite game he's ever coached in his life.
Yeah.
And I think he was really, really mad that they threw the ball 3 times. He was extremely upset about that. But Josh Allen was actually playing pretty well. I mean, he was hitting guys in that crazy win. There was a couple of bad drops in that game,
I couldn't believe that throw to Diggs that got dropped in the end zone. I mean, I can't blame Diggs either because the ball was just going everywhere.
Yeah.
But I can't believe Allen placed that throw where he did.
Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I like the Bills here.
And I had a Diggs touchdown prop in that game too.
Oh shit! I had the under. I took the under. That was an easy one. Yeah, I like the Bills in this spot against the Bucs, catching 3. I think they can keep it close. Bucs, they've struggled against some of the better teams this year. I mean, they barely beat the Cowboys. They lost to the Rams. I think the Bills are desperate and the Bucs are kind of on cruise control. The Bucs could still be chasing that 1 seed, but it's going to be tough to get there with the way they gotta win more than the Packers going out, and they have to catch up to Arizona. So who knows? But I like the Bills catching 3 here. I like Josh Allen to have a big game, and I like that defense to grow some balls, hopefully, and kind of put this Bucs offense in check a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. So Tom Brady loves to eat up the underneath, and the Bucs run more conservative defense. They're not going to let you hit any home runs, and I know Tom Brady can score doing that, but I just feel I'm feeling the Bills on this game. So I'm with you. I got Bills +3. The model agrees with it. I think Allen is going to have a solid day.
The Bucs defense is outside of their run defense, which the Bills don't run the ball very well anyway. They give up yards, and they can give up big play too.
That's where I was about to go with it. The Bills got a lot of speed at wide receiver between Gabriel Davis and Stephon Diggs. Cole Beasley shifty out of the slot. They're going to find some deep shots. The Bucks are an attacking defense. Top Bowls loves to bring numbers. He loves to outnumber the blockers. Josh Allen will find some big shots in there, and he'll probably find some running lanes in there too. Because when the play breaks down is when he's best.
Yeah, I like the tight end in this game. I like Dustin Knox. I'll probably take him on a touchdown prop. I think last time I checked, he was about a plus.
Yeah, him and Diggs are the guys you want to bet for the Bills, just based on who gets the targets there.
Yeah, he loves Dustin Knox in the end zone. So I think if they get within the 10, Dustin Knox has a great chance of.
I think he dropped a touchdown last game.
Yeah, he did. He dropped.
But it shows you he had a target there though in the red zone.
No, yeah. I mean, Allen loves him, and I think over like 80% of his targets have come in the red zone.
Yeah.
So,
I took the under in this game too, under 53.5.
That's a big line.
Every model likes it. That's the reason I took it, because I think this game could turn into a shootout, but when every model's telling me to take it, and I only take it when my model says it's more than 3 point. When my model is projecting 3 points less than Vegas is, that's when I take unders. And I think my model said 4 points less, and most of the other models were at least 3 points less. So the numbers point to that, but you just never know with some of these Tampa games. Like the Tampa-Dallas game just turned so fast. Like the pace just got so fast right from the get-go, and it never slowed down, Yeah. So it just depends on how the game kind of writes itself in that way sometimes. But the numbers like the under.
Yeah, I think the game's going to start slow. If it does turn into a shootout, I think it won't happen until halfway through the second quarter or something like that. I could see it being halfway through the second quarter being like a 7-3 game and still ending like 24-20, something like that.
Both these teams can run hurry up so well, and they can just move the ball so fast, and it's just it's probably risky going with the under here, but like I said, when I get 4 out of 4 on the models, I take it.
I think it's the highest total all week too. So
yeah. All right. Well, moving on to Monday night. I think it's Monday night. We got Detroit Matt with the Rams going into Arizona to take on all 5'4" of Kyler Murray. Did you bet this game, Jay?
I don't have this game, but I love the Cardinals here. The Rams, outside of the Bucs game, they don't beat good teams, and they're a little fraudulent. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. They're a little fraudulent, and Cardinals are only laying 2.5 here, so they just got to win by a field goal. I like the Rams, or I like the Cardinals. They already went to LA and beat the Rams. I think they come back home and beat them again. It's the first time they beat the Rams, I think, in the Sean McVay era. Was earlier in the season in LA. Yeah, I think they do it again at home here.
So I got Cardinals -2.5. Both my models liked it. Most of the other models liked it. I like it. I just think the Rams are too. I don't understand why this line's not bigger. I don't know if there's something we just don't know yet. That's my main concern.
I don't know if Kyler's still like 100% yet.
He sure looked 100% last week.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is still coming back. James Conner isn't really the home run threat that their other back is. That I can't think of his name. That's hurt.
Which, by the way, on DeAndre Hopkins, I gained a new appreciation for how good that man is at playing wide receiver. Last week, doing my game preview for the Bears Cardinals, like just watching that Cardinals tape of him, like this guy is incredible at creating separation when there is none. He gives a shoulder turn or a head fake to make the DB think, oh, the ball's coming, and the next thing you know, he's 5 yards away from you. He's incredible.
It's crazy that he's not a guy that just like busted out. He's been like that ever since his rookie year.
Yeah.
And you look at some of the recent trades and stuff in the NFL, what people have given up for draft picks or what people have given up for other receivers. And you look back on that trade and they like David Johnson in a 2nd-round pick. Like, are you freaking kidding? Like, every time I think about that, like, Bill O'Brien's just sitting there with his fucking dumb face. Just like, how in the world, for one, like, were they the only team that called him and they were just like I remember talking to you about it and I was like, I could see Kyler like in Cliff's office just like throwing a fit, like, I want a receiver, go get me a receiver. And then Cliff's like, okay, Kyler, who do you want? And he was like, DeAndre Hopkins. And then Cliff's like, okay.
So I'm just imagining all this with like a toddler voice on Kyler's like, DeAndre Hopkins.
I want D-Hop. And then Cliff's like jokingly like, okay, let me call Bill O'Brien. We'll get you D-Hop. Like, and then he answers the phone and he's like, hey, Bill, you think we can get DeAndre Hopkins? And Bill's like, yeah, what do you want to give me? And Cliff's like a little startled. And he was like, okay, like, he's not really going to give me him. Like, I'm just going to lowball the fuck out of him. He's like, I'll give you an overpaid running back that hasn't done shit in 3 years and a 2nd-round pick. How's that sound? He's like, sounds good to me.
No, so I think it'd be like he offers just the running back, and then Bill O'Brien's like, throw it a 2nd-round pick, and you got a deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like not even like 2 weeks later is when the Bills traded for Stephon Diggs, giving up a 1st and a 3rd. Yeah. And you're like, you have a 1st, like, don't get me wrong, Stephon Diggs is very, very good. He's not DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah. And it's like, did you not call the Texans? Like,
evidently not.
Yeah. And it's like, it's still one of the craziest moves.
In fact, I'd be willing to bet that they called the Vikings about Diggs because they saw what the Cardinals got from the Texans.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we'll give you a 2nd-round pick for Stephon Diggs. And the Vikings are like,
hung up on them.
Yeah. Like, no? How about no? Yeah. And in that same draft, or was it the same draft that it was last year, right? So the Eagles traded up. Eagles gave up a 1st and a 3rd-round pick to trade up for Jalen Reagor.
Did they? I didn't remember that.
Yeah, so they traded up to get Jalen Reagor in front of Justin Jefferson, but they could have used those picks to trade for DeAndre Hopkins too. So not only did they miss on DeAndre Hopkins, they missed on Justin Jefferson.
Oh man,
so,
Eagles wide receivers are cursed.
There you go, Eagles fans. Something nice about y'all.
But anyways,
you got your guy.
Arizona -2.5. I love it. Only way I see this game going wayside is if the Cardinals let the Rams get an early lead somehow, like a 2-score lead, 10 points plus in the first half. Then I could see it not working out. But even then, the Cardinals have a knack for coming back in the second half in those games too. So they'll make it interesting.
Cardinals defense is quietly one of the best units in the NFL. Nobody talks about it because
they're complete chaos. They are complete and utter chaos.
I mean, Buda Baker is a top 5 safety.
What Vance Joseph is doing with those guys is impressive. I mean, they have one of the highest blitz rates in the NFL, but they're not getting beat with the pass on blitzes. They're getting beat in the run on blitzes for sure, but they're they're giving up one of the worst explosive run rates, I believe, but they're not letting those runs go for touchdowns, which is really, I mean, so if you're not getting a touchdown on those runs, you're not getting explosive pass plays. It's just impressive what Vance Joseph is doing with that group.
I like the Cardinals a lot.
They're probably the most aggressive defense in the NFL, though. The way that they shoot at gaps. If there's one thing for Sean McVay is probably going to try to take advantage of, it's going to be that. Those linebackers flow into gaps so fast. They don't hesitate at all. And if you catch them, you can catch them.
Yeah, and if you look at recent history, Sean McVay always starts out the season really hot. And I don't know if he just doesn't change anything throughout the season. But it seems like teams always figure out the Rams later in the year.
Yeah.
And then he comes back the next year and they look really good again. And you're like, okay, well, Sean McVay has it now. But like, I don't know if he just doesn't do a whole lot of in-season adjustments or what. But I feel like
That's a
every
good
single
point.
year they just kind of get stagnant after about week 10, week 11. And
They can keep
don't look
beating
as
up
good.
on good team or on bad teams, but when they
Yeah,
start facing good teams,
they'll always beat up on bad teams. But yeah, they haven't played well against top competition this year outside of that Bucks game early in the season. So
yeah. All right. So last thing I got here, I got a teaser. I'm teasing Dallas up to +3.
hell yeah.
Teasing Cleveland to +4.5. Marlon Humphrey's out for the season for the Ravens. Another major injury for them.
That game don't make no sense to me.
Yeah. And then Seattle to -0.5 points. That's Seattle money line. And then the big one. This is the one that's going to make or break my season. Chicago +19.5 against Green Bay.
Justin Fields is back.
I wouldn't have bet Chicago +19.5 if Justin Fields wasn't back.
I have no idea why they're even playing him, honestly, but I don't. Matt Nagy is crazy. I actually just made a teaser real quick as we were talking. You can do a 13-point teaser.
You can only do it sometimes. Like you can only do it with the right number of teams, and like I've had it disappear on me before.
Oh man, I kind of like that. But now I'm gonna do a 7-point teaser. All right, so I'm gonna do Falcons +9.5, Cowboys +3, Seahawks -0.5 point, and then Bills +10. It pays +200.
Yeah, so we got two of the same 4 legs there.
Yeah, I love it.
So I like it.
There's
a lot of teasers to like this week. Like the board itself, it feels very weird this week. Like a lot of stuff that could go either way, but there's a lot of teaser potential this week.
I could have got that. I could have got that a 13-point teaser at -130. I should have done it, but I'll take
I might do that. You know how many games end outside of a 13-point like difference?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Just take the 4 biggest dogs and add 13, and you're probably gonna win.
Yeah, you get Raiders at +22, Jaguars at +21, Lions at +21, Giants at +23, Bears at +25.
Like there are so few games that end over 20-point difference just because of garbage time alone. Like,
yeah, I mean, what was it? The Rams Texans was like an 18-point spread, and they're up by 33 with like 8 minutes left, and then the Texans scored like 20 unanswered and only lost by like 13.
Yeah,
and blew everybody's fucking bets.
Yeah, just huge numbers, man. All right, so next up here, we're bringing on a guest. We got our good friend Joseph Martinez coming on the show. What do you got for us, Joseph?
Can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
There we go. That ought to be better.
There we go. That's better.
What's up, guys? It's Joseph Martinez. You can follow me on Twitter at jmartinez1890 and also streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/Reaganomics93, where I stream mostly first-person shooters, role-playing games, and community games. We're talking a little esports today, Shaving Points gaming news. Major game releases this month are Call of Duty Warzone Pacific. Got high hopes for one of the biggest games in the world that's faced a lot of problems with cheating among pro players, recycled gameplay, and forced expansion sequels such as Call of Duty Cold War and Vanguard. Next up is Halo Infinite. You ever play any Halo, Q? Well, they got a lot of people are inspired by this because got a lot of older gamers, older professionals. Probably the same sponsors as Cornhole, uh, more at a mature male.
Yeah, definitely
Johnsonville
played a lot of
Brats.
Halo at some point in my life.
Well, they got some of the sponsors for the older males, like they do for Cornhole, like Johnsonville Brats, Kingsford Charcoal, New Balance, Next
That's
Grill.
genius, actually.
Yeah, yeah. You see some of the professional, like pictures of the professional teams, and they're all like older guys that look like us. I was like, I can get down with
I
that.
love it. I bet you they're
Uh,
great at Halo too.
yeah, dude, Halo's an older man's game. Other big news is the Warzone Pacific drop. It's early access today, public access tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Other news is Kenny Vaccaro, who cut his teeth with the New Orleans Saints, announced his
Former
retirement
UT
from.
safety, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Brownwood, Texas, early Texas.
Kenny
Uh,
Guacamole.
Kenny Guacamole. He played for the Saints for a couple of years and then played for the Titans for 2
He
seasons, I
balled out
believe.
with the Titans. Him and Kevin Byard were like
Yeah.
the best safety duo in the league for a couple of years. They were
Fuck
balling out
Bass
over there.
Bros.
Well, he announced his retirement from football to pursue a gaming career centered around Halo, Apex, and Destiny. His gaming collaborative is called G1 Esports, Gamers First. So that's pretty big news.
Get him on the pod.
We'll
Yeah.
see what we can do. Hometown hero, local guy. In other news, the Halo Championship Series Global Major kicks off December 17th and ends December 19th in Raleigh, North Carolina. Top 16 teams from the open bracket will be entered into the championship with 8 open bracket winners and 8 elimination portion winners added into the championship bracket. We got teams from North America, Latin America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. 32 teams, double elimination style championship bracket, determine the tournament winner. $250,000 prize pool.
Whew, who's your
That's
money
some
on?
dough.
My money is G2, actually. There's actually a lot of contention between Kenny's gaming clan and G2 because they're G1, G2. So they got a little bit of animosity right there. How can you be G2, G1 when we've been G2 for years? But there's supposed to be a lot of interest from FaZe Clan, MV Space Station, E United, Navi, G2, Cloud9, Sentinels, and Fnatic. Don't sleep on this esports, man. There's a lot of money being pumped into this.
Yeah, I just pulled him up on my gambling site.
Yeah. We were talking earlier. Like, can you gamble on esports? I'm like, yeah, dude. They Call of Duty, Valorant. It's all League of Legends, Dota, whatever. Like I said, you could throw pickles at a window and gamble on which one's going to get to the bottom first. It's just you can gamble on anything.
And for everybody listening, Joseph is our first esports promoter for Shaving Points. He's gonna do some streaming for us, and if there's ever any big news in the esports world, he's gonna come on and talk about it for everybody. So,
Yeah.
New addition to the team. So
his I believe your Twitch stream can be found on our link tree and our website and all that, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if you're into esports, make sure you go give him a follow, go check him out. As always, like, retweet, whatever it is, or just comment and tell him how much you don't like him. Don't matter. He'll get in the comments with you.
Tell me how much you don't like me. Tell me how little I do know. The metrics are the metrics. It doesn't matter to me.
truly one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. So he'll be good entertainment even if he sucks. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Get in there, talk shit. He'll mix it up with you, so it'll be a good time.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's all I got, guys.
All right, Joseph.
All
Well,
right.
thanks for coming on.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
All right, that was our esports segment of this week. And now you want to talk about the Sportsman of the Week?
Yeah, last thing I got on here is the one, the only, Mr. Taysom Hill. You are the Shaving Points Podcast Sportsman of the Week. for throwing an interception on what seemed like every single pass attempt in the fourth quarter, but you kept throwing them, and that's what matters.
Mama always said he was a real good trier.
We talked a little bit about it earlier. I couldn't believe, like, I was sitting here at my desk. I was trying to bang out an article for something. I think it was one of the head coach series that I'm doing. And I got a TV right here. And it's up on there. I'm like half paying attention, half writing. And I'm just like, was that a replay? Or did he just do that again?
Yeah, Diggs finally got another one. Diggs has like 3 or 4 drops in the past couple of games. You didn't think, I was like, I don't know how many more he'll get. He had two drops early in the game that should have been interceptions, and he finally got one in the fourth quarter. But now he's on the race for 10. I think he's got 8 now. I think he'll get to 10. It'd be great to see him get to about 12 or 13 and just shatter the Cowboys record. I think the single season record for the Cowboys is 13. So if he can get to 14 or 15, that'll be awesome. But yeah, on a Dallas team that hasn't turned the ball over in recent years, just seeing a guy like Diggs, even if he does give it the big play every now and then, I would rather a guy go for the turnover and potentially give up the big play than somebody that's just always almost getting an interception and they still make the play on him. So it's definitely a nice welcomed difference on this Cowboys team, and him with Micah Parsons and the defensive tackle who I can't pronounce his name from UCLA have been those three.
Zigabooty or something?
Yeah. Yeah,
I liked him in the draft.
It's like OBGY, or a lot of letters in there that I can't put together. But yeah, it's looking like this defense is going to have a really good young core, and excited to see what happens. So very excited for it.
Onyega Badu. Thank you, Joseph.
That was close.
But it's when speaking in terms of breaking records, Robert Quinn's got a shot at the Bears sack record.
Does he really?
Yeah, he's got 12. The sack record's 18 and a half. He needs to have a big last, 4 games? 5 games?
Yeah, so he needs 7 and 5 games. Might get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
How many games they got on turf?
Shoot, I don't even know what the rest of their schedule looks like. They got at least one in Minnesota. Oh, yeah. I mean, speed rushes are always going to be better on turf. And that's what he is. So, yeah. Outside Minnesota, I don't remember who else they got. But every other game this year for the Bears is a road game. So they got at least a few more road games.
Hell yeah. Well, you want to talk a little UFC, my favorite sport to bet on?
I'll let you go right ahead, and I'll just nod my head and smile and probably follow your bets.
All right, so this is the biggest UFC card this year, probably one of the biggest UFC cards ever. I mean, you just look at the undercard, and some of the names on it are just astonishing. Like Pedro Munoz, Dominic Cruz fighting on the undercard. I can't even remember if it's Ege or Eg, but he's fighting Josh Emmett. That's a monster fight on the undercard. Tai Tuavasa, one of the biggest heavyweight names up and comers in the sport right now, loves to do shoeys after he knocks people out and just drink stale, nasty beer out of people's shoes. He's fighting on the undercard.
Sounds like a fighter to me.
Yeah, and then also we got Sugar Shot O'Malley, one of the most popular names in UFC right now, regardless of division, opening up the pay-per-view. You have Dustin Poirier fighting. You have Amanda Nunes, probably the greatest female fighter of all time, probably the pound-for-pound greatest fighter in UFC history, male or female, fighting. Just a stacked card top to bottom. So much so much good fights. Not a whole lot of value on this card, though, as far as betting goes. I got to be honest. But I'm just going to go through some of the fights that I like. So I'm going to start off with Tai Tuavasa, one of my favorite guys. I just talked about it. He's minus 120 right now. The guy he's fighting, Augusto Saki, is minus 110. So it's basically a pick 'em there. I like the under. I always in a 3-round heavyweight match. I always love the under. You get under 1.5 rounds plus 110 right now, so you can get plus money that the fight doesn't go halfway past the second round. Love that pick there. If it'll let you parlay the two, a lot of sites won't, but if you can, I'll take Tai Tuavasa parlayed with the under. Probably get about plus 230 odds. Love it there. Next up, I like Dan Ige. I can't remember what it is. He's plus 135. He's been in the UFC for a long time. He's fighting a kind of young guy right here. I think experience. This crowd's going to be one of the most electric crowds in recent history. I just like a guy with experience there going in. Moment's not going to be too big for him in a fight that he really needs to win. So I like him there. And there's a lot of value on the under in that fight as well. Plus 155, 2.5 rounds. So much shit can happen in the UFC. If you're getting plus 155, basically betting that the fight goes the distance or betting that the fight doesn't go to the distance, I always like those odds there. You got to take them. Another one, Pedro Munoz, Dominic Cruz. This is another one where I like the under 2.5 rounds in a 3-round fight at plus 200. So much, like there's way too much shit that can happen in an octagon that it would be stupid not to take under at plus 200. All you have to do is catch up.
Who was the guy who was it Sugar who broke his leg on just a kick in the first round, or was that
versus Marlon Vera?
Yeah, I remember. I had him in that fight, and it was just like the fight was just over because he broke his fucking leg. It just snapped.
So much shit can happen. Like you catch him once, or you're on the ground, then all of a sudden you have him in a choke. I mean, there's just too much stuff to happen in a 3-round fight that you wouldn't take plus 200 at under 2.5 rounds. So basically, all but 2.5 minutes. I mean, the fight probably will go the distance. That's why the line's that big. But there's so many variables that could happen that it would be stupid not to take plus 200 on the under in the Pedro Munoz Dominic Cruz fight. And I thought Dominic Cruz wasn't going to fight again. So the fact that he's even in this fight is crazy to me. He's minus 115. Pedro Munoz is minus 115. It's a pick 'em. I like Dominic Cruz. Like I said, another veteran guy has been in moments like this. It's not going to be too big for him, so I like him there. Let's see. Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley, minus 310. Not a whole lot of value there. I'm going to parlay Sean O'Malley to knock out, to win by KO, TKO, or disqualification. No, I lied. I'm taking Sugar Show money line minus 310 with Cody Garbrandt minus 135 against Kai Kara France. Cody Garbrandt looked like shit in his last fight, but when he shows up, he's one of the best fighters in the world. And I think this is a fight he shows up for. It's a monster card. And I'm parlaying those two money lines, minus 135, minus 310, with the baddest bitch on the planet, Amanda Nunes, to win by knockout. You parlay those three together, it's plus 206. Great value there. I think Sugar Show wins, no problem. I think Nunes wins by KO, no problem. Basically, what you're betting on here is Cody Garbrandt money line, and you're getting that at plus 206 when he's minus 140. So great value there. And as long as Sugar Show wins, if you wanted to hedge, you could kind of hedge against Cody Garbrandt later on in the night against Kai Kara France. He's plus 115 right now. So you could still hedge a little bit there. But after those two win,
I just pulled it up. If you just do Garbrandt, Sugar, and Amanda Nunez money lines, you're at plus 155.
Yeah. So Amanda Nunez is minus 900. Amanda Nunez is minus 900. Like, she's not going to lose this fight. It's a 5-round fight, and the total rounds is set at 1.5 in a 5-round fight. Like, that just shows, like, Amanda, like, if you've never watched Amanda Nunez fight before, it's incredible. She tosses these women around like fucking rag dolls. It's incredible to watch. She's so freaking good. She's untouchable in the sport right now. She is the greatest mixed martial artist on the planet right now. Yeah, she's probably my favorite fighter right now, and I think you can get her to win by knockout at like minus 200, and that's just stealing money. But yeah, if you want to throw her in any parlay you have this weekend, anything, just throw her in there. It's guaranteed. Like, unless she goes out there and breaks her neck, like, she could break her leg in the first round and still win that fight. She's so fucking good. So, like, as long as, like, she doesn't die in the ring, you're gonna be fine. And then there's some other undercards that I like, but I'll probably just put those on Twitter this weekend. But
yeah, go follow the account. We'll have the live tweets going during the fights.
And then the main event, you have Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier. Charles Oliveira had the most wins in UFC history without getting a title shot up until he won the title. I bet against him when he won the title. And he kind of dominated when he won the title. This is his first title defense against Dustin Poirier. He's the dog as the champion. And in recent history, if the champion's the dog, you want to hammer the favorite. Hammer the favorite, because usually the champ, if they're the dog, they're dog for a reason. But I don't see it here. I mean, I thought this line would be a lot closer, honestly. I thought it'd be closer to pick 'em. Charles Oliveira's at plus 140 versus Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is very good. Very, very good. I thought the line would be about even, and I was going to hammer Poirier. But the fact that I could get Charles Oliveira at plus 140, I might hop on that. I'm going to wait. I'll probably wait until right before the fight because I'm not going to have it in any parlays or anything. But I like the dog there. And the total for that is 1.5 as well, which is crazy because both these guys don't get finished. Like, they're both finishers. Like, they both finish fights early, but neither one of them get finished. So it's should be a hell of a fight. And you can get the under on that at plus 150, but at 1.5 rounds, I don't think it's worth taking the over at minus 180. Because I think it makes it to the second round or third round, I should say. So I don't like the under there, even with that much juice. It's a 5-round fight. I think it goes to round 3. And as of right now, I lean Oliveira just slightly, just because of the value alone. I do think Dustin Poirier wins the fight, but if you give me the champion at plus 140, I'm going to hop on it. So that's kind of my reasoning for that. But if that line sneaks closer to even, if they're both at 115 or minus 115, minus 120 in that range, if it's closer to even, I like Poirier. But like I said, with that much value, you got to hop on Oliveira. And that's my quick breakdown. And like I said, I'll have more picks on Saturday. I'm historically very good at UFC, so
I can vouch for that. He's won me some money.
So
I just took that parlay with those 3 that you put out there: the Garbrandt, Sugar, and Nunez.
Like I said, the biggest question mark in that is Cody Garbrandt. If Cody Garbrandt shows up, it's going to be an easy win. But he's one of those guys where
I've made money on him and I've lost money on him. Yeah, and I usually only bet it when I watch it, so I've seen both.
Yeah, he's so up and down. It's crazy. But when he shows up, he's almost untouchable. He's so quick. His hands are so he's got so much power. But then all of a sudden he'll just show up for a fight and he just looks like he shouldn't even be there. So it's hard to bet on him, but he usually bounces back big after a loss. So I like him in that spot. But if you don't love him there, and you want to take him out, I love Tai Tuavasa, honestly. I know Vegas has it at a pick 'em. I don't think it's gonna be a pick 'em. He's been rolling people lately, and he's a big guy with a gut. Like, he doesn't look like he's gonna have, like, you look at some of the other heavyweights and they're kind of cut up. They're 6'3", 6'4", with abs and shit. He's not that. He's a big fatty, but he's quick. He's got power and he's got endurance. So yeah, I
think I've lost money on him before just from like seeing him pre-fight and betting against him.
Yeah. So in the Greg Hardy fight, Greg Hardy carried like 85% of tickets in Vegas and got knocked out in the first round. So
all right.
Never just look at him and be like, oh, that's for sure a win.
Yeah. I've made that mistake. Also, my NBA model is posted on our Twitter account.
NBA model's hot
every time
now.
I get the chance. Let's see, I think it's 2-2 tonight so far. I had a rough night last night at 0-2, but there were only 4 games to choose from. But overall, ever since I completely redid it, I started the season like 4-10 or something with the old model that I'd kept using, and then Thanksgiving week, I had some time and I sat down and reworked it from bottom up. And it is 19, or I guess after today, so far it's 22-13 since Thanksgiving week. So it's rocking and rolling. I did the same thing for college. I believe that one is 4-2 so far tonight. It was 9-7 on the season before that, so now it's up to 13-9. So college isn't as easy with the analytics as NBA is, as far as the way everything translates. There's just more variables, but it's looking good so far. So I'm gonna keep running it as long as it keeps making money. And I post those on the Twitter account daily if I can. If not, every couple days I'll throw them out there. Oh, and if you subscribe on our website, those picks will be emailed to you. It'll come straight from our Twitter over to your email. And yeah, you'll get all our picks every week by subscribing. So go to our website, shaving-points.com, subscribe, and you'll get it all for free every week.
We got Army-Navy this week as the only college football game. Take the under. I take the over every year. I lose. I think the under has hit like 14 out of the last 15 years.
If you really want to pick a side, just flip a coin.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also, I just want to put the world on notice that Texas Tech is going to win the national championship next year in football. We're getting Quinn Ewers, baby. We're back. He's back. We're back. Quinn Ewers is going to be the next quarterback at Texas Tech. And if he's not and he goes to Texas, then I will be sad.
Me too. But how can you turn Joey Badass down when he's showing up at his door with Patrick Mahomes holding a bottle of ketchup? I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, it doesn't get better than that. And what better time to be a Texas Tech QB than Patrick Mahomes winning MVPs and Super Bowls every year?
Was the new offensive coordinator, was he Mahomes' quarterback coach?
Yes, he was.
Tech's new offensive coordinator was Patrick Mahomes' former quarterback coach.
Also, Bailey Zappi's offensive coordinator at Western Kentucky, who just freaking shattered so many records. And if you don't know who Bailey Zappi is, there's probably a reason for it, because he played at Western Kentucky. But go look it up. The dude's a badass. And Will Kitley was his offensive coordinator, who's not at Tech. And then if you want to go look at Oregon had a great defense last year. They struggled on offense. Oregon's defensive coordinator now at Texas Tech. You go look at South
and
Lake
recruiting in lines with Texas. He spent time at A&M on the recruiting paths.
Yeah, and there's still rumors that South Lake Carroll, Riley Dodge, who's historically one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever come out of Texas high school football, and has the South Lake Carroll program absolutely rolling. There's still rumors that he's gonna end up at Tech. So we'll see about that. And if that happens, put the league on notice. We have
Champs. Red Raiders finally gonna get there.
Wreck them, baby.
I'm excited about the idea of yours.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait. There's gonna be so many mullets in Lubbock if he goes.
There are already a lot of mullets in Lubbock. If he gets there, it's gonna be all mullets.
Just blonde mullets everywhere, and I cannot wait for it.
It's beautiful.
If I had hair, I would have a blonde mullet.
Oh, 100%. I think my fiance is glad I don't have hair because she knows what it would look like.
Same. But I'm Jay. Follow us, subscribe, like, comment, do all the things. We love doing this for you guys. So show us some love, and remember,
make some money.
Make some money. Don't sleep on the Lions.